guys, we are going to, I welcome all of you into this session, and I hope that it will be a good opportunity to provide you with an opportunity to reflect upon your lives and think a bit about how you can grow further from here. So we are going to start with a small, interesting test, a blob tree test. Some of you may already be familiar with this one. So have a look at this image on the screen and try to find yourself in it. I mean, there are different emotions that you can see, different people with different representing different things. So if you are able to find yourself, you can write down that number in the chat box. For example, if you think that you are number 8, just saying it as an example, you can write down in the chat box. I will be sharing the results with you and will be telling you why this is important and relevant. This is a blob tree test, and this is conducted to measure your emotional intelligence as well as your belonging or your standing within the community, which is obviously directly related to emotional intelligence. So have a look at all these images, all these yellow people with different scenarios and situations, and try to find yourself in it. So after a minute or so, I will be sharing the results with you. So that will be a good opportunity for you to reflect upon the current stage of your life that you are in. All right. So just 20 more seconds, have a look, try to find out where you are. So hopefully that will determine that what stage of life you are currently in and how do you feel. This feeling aspect is really important and critical to understanding emotional intelligence. So let us quickly jump to the results. I hope that everybody has been able to go through this. All right. So very quickly, if you have chosen figure 1, 3, 6, or 7, just quickly have a look. 1, 3, 6, and 7. Then you are a resolute person, not afraid of difficulties or obstacles. All right, that is a wonderful thought. If you feel that one of the figures 2, 11, 12, 18, or 19 resembles you, then you are an amiable person who is always there when your friends need you. 2, 11, 12, 18. So this means that you are a friendly person, always eager to help. The choice of figure 4 describes you as a steadfast person who wants to achieve success without the hassle of overcoming hardships. Let us see in the chat box if somebody has written 4. I just want to quickly judge. All right. Moving forward. Number 5 means if you are number 5, you will know. I wouldn't need to go to the image again. If you are number 5, this means that you're often weary and feel weak and you have little energy for life. If you're feeling like this, hopefully after this session, you will feel better. If you have chosen figure 9, you are a merry and fun-loving person. Let us see how many 9s do we have quickly. Oh, let me see in the chat box quickly. Okay. Choosing number 13 or 21 means that you have got the tendency to keep to yourself. You're also frequently anxious and would normally avoid other people. Okay. If you are number 8, it means you are a real daydreamer. You like being in your own world and away from the real one. And if you have chosen figure 10 and 15, it describes you as a well-adapted person, content with the life that you have. Number 14 signifies that you are emotionally drained and exhausted. Figure 20 is for people with a heightened sense of self-importance, a born leader. And if your choice is figure 16, then you are tired of supporting someone. However, you could have seen yourself as being hugged by figure 17. Let us quickly again have a look at this figure. All these figures, these positions, they show different kind of emotions, different kind of feelings, different kind of circumstances that we people are in. The important thing is to understand and realize your current scenario and move forward from there. Be productive from there. We all face different kind of situations, obstacles, circumstances in our lives, but the most important thing for all of us would be to make sure that we become in charge and in control of our life. So this is where emotional intelligence comes in. I'll give you a brief overview, and during the session, I would encourage if any one of you can come up with any example or any idea that relates to our topic, you can use the chat box. I will be frequently going to the chat box and looking for your opinions, and then I can respond to it. So what is emotional intelligence? By definition, it is the ability to identify and manage one's own emotions as well as the emotion of others. So basically, it has two concepts to it. One is internal and the other is external. And we are going to talk about these aspects in detail today. Why is emotional intelligence important? Why are we talking about it right now? Now, according to World Economic Forum, the top skills for future, and these skills, when they talk about the skills, regardless of the profession that you are in, these skills are equally important. I mean, we are not concerned about the technical skills of engineering or being a medical specialist or being somebody else. We're talking about the skills which are equally important in all the professions. So previously, there is a chart given, 10 top 10 skills have been given. In 2016, they conducted a data. Now, when you see that after 2020 and 2023, since the world is changing, and what has been the most dominant factor that has changed the world? What has happened in this particular time period that has changed the world, the way we approach work, the way we approach life? That is the COVID-19 pandemic time period. Although we are very grateful that it is almost over, we have gone through it successfully. For those who have lost their dear ones, I feel sorry for that, but we have, as collectively, as people of this world, we have been able to deal with this pandemic. So in the context of professional skills, how has this pandemic changed? Now, you know, people are talking more about people skills. Less emphasis was on the mental and physical health of people. Before the time of pandemic, although people were talking about employee engagement, people were talking about happiness at the workplace, people were talking about making things more comfortable for employees. But after pandemic, when most of the concern was regarding the health, both the mental and the physical health of the employees, and the concept of working from home started, so the evolution of skills also came into place. This is where leadership learned that emotional intelligence is one of the top leadership skills that one needs to have. Currently, right now, according to HBR, Harvard Business Review, and the top business journals which talk about the leadership principles and the leadership values, they have considered emotional intelligence as one of the top traits that a leader should possess. It means that the leader should be concerned, he or she should be aware of his or own emotions and regarding the emotions of people working with him or her. All right, let me quickly go through the chat box since I see 8-10 messages. All right, thank you. The topic, yeah, it's going to be wonderful. All right. Yeah, I will be sharing the presentation. It is already being recorded. But if you require, I will be sharing the PowerPoint as well. No worries over there. Okay. So emotional intelligence is, this skill needs to be learned. Although we are learning it informally throughout our life, but we need to make a conscious effort to learn this ability because it's going to help us capitalize on our strengths. We are going to talk about self-awareness today. I'll be asking you a few questions as well. It can make you more productive at work. Your people skills are enhanced. And when your people skills are enhanced, your ability or tendency to become a good leader, it also increases. You're able to make good decisions. It makes you a good conflict handler. You are able to manage interpersonal conflicts. You're able to reduce conflicts as well. It gives you a lot of positivity in life. And you can handle change effectively. And it motivates you. Now, let me ask all of you a question to help you understand this topic more. Are you completely aware that what makes you excited? Are you completely aware that what things, what triggers, what incidents happening around you, they make you happy? Are you completely aware that what makes you sad? Do you know what makes you feel demotivated? If you are aware of all these things, then you are on the right track. You know what kind of an emotional response your mind and your body is generating to a certain incident. You know, somebody at your workplace is being rude to you, and they are being rude to you frequently. And there is an automatic response that comes to you. You start being rude to them as well as a response. This is what normal people do. But when you have the self-awareness, and when you know that why is that other person behaving in such a manner and what is expected from you, how should you respond to that certain behavior, then it means that you are aware and you are in control of yourself and in control of your emotions. Sorry for that. I'm feeling a bit under the weather, but I hope that I'll be able to complete the session. All right. So being emotionally aware, it helps you understanding yourself and what triggers are there in your life that are going to benefit you to respond to certain situations in certain ways. When we go through the internet and see videos on YouTube, and whenever we talk about work, you know, usually the comic part about this is that work is taken as something stressful. I mean, whenever you see usual casual videos related to somebody who is working, they are going to show work as something very stressful. They are going to show bosses as someone who is very like a negative person. So I just wonder that why is this concept so common among the masses? Why does everyone take work as a burden? I mean, why don't we understand that this work is generating money for us? It is the most productive time of our life. I mean, we have to spend 8 to 10 hours doing something, and for that we get paid. So why is this understanding missing? So I think that this bridging of this gap is going to help us understand and identify that we need to realign our thoughts and understand that what emotions are going to make us more productive. If you think that certain things make you feel excited, and when you are excited, this helps you somehow in enhancing your strength, then you should be looking forward to those triggers frequently. All right, there is a question that how is emotional intelligence related to leadership? I am going to talk about it later, but just let me give you an overview. I've already said it. A leader needs to inspire the people around him or her, because a leader without followers is incomplete. So leadership, people, they look up to the leaders. They want their leaders to be an inspirational figure. They want their leaders to come up with solutions, whether they are political leaders, whether they are the leaders at workplace, whether they are the leaders in the families. So emotional intelligence, it helps the leaders to make themselves more productive because they are aware of their own self, their own strengths and weaknesses, and they are aware of the needs of the people around them. Empathy is one common word over here. In the times of COVID-19, most of the organizations were asked to have more empathy towards the people, because they wanted people to deal with the pandemic and to do work as well, to earn livelihood as well, while at the same time dealing with a global pandemic. So the element of empathy was discussed a lot in that time period. So that is related directly to emotional intelligence. I hope that you got my point. All right. So what are we going to talk about today? What are the key pillars of emotional intelligence? There are two aspects to understanding emotional intelligence. One is the internal aspect, that is regarding the personal competencies, and I will be asking you to continuously do a self-reflection, continuously ask yourself When we are going to talk about these aspects of personal life, I would want you guys to think about your own self and respond to all the aspects that we are talking about. And the second part is regarding social competencies. So emotional intelligence is about oneself and the people around them. So it's going to be focusing on both the internal and external aspects. All right. Okay. I'm just like having a look at the chat box as well. So let us talk quickly about self-awareness and personal competencies. In self-awareness, we need to firstly understand, as I've already mentioned, that we need to know which emotions are we feeling and why do we feel them. Why do certain situations make us feel happy? Why do certain situations make us feel sad? When are we more productive? When are we more happy? And why? What kind of an environment would we want to be in? Because if we want to be happy and then we will be productive, it helps you realize the links between your feelings and what you think, do, and say. This means taking more responsibility of your actions, recognizing how your feelings affect your performance, and having a guiding awareness of your values and goals. Like all of us need to be pretty clear of ourselves as human beings, as people, as professionals, that what do we want to achieve in life? What is my top priority? If I ask you a question, and I would want you guys to use the chat box to respond to it, what is your topmost guiding value? As a human being, as a person, what drives you? What is it that drives you as a person? If you like think about all the things that are there in your life, and you can come up with one thing, one topmost thing that drives you, that is your core value. It can be honesty for some people. I'm just giving you an example so that you are able to understand my question clearly. It can be honesty. It can be integrity. It can be hard work. I mean, it can be anything. It depends on you. But what is your core value that drives you as an individual? When you know about this thing, only then you will be able to direct yourself towards that. It is when you understand your personality, we all are different. We do understand this thing. All of us, we have our own set of strengths and weaknesses. We have our own set of potentials. But the important thing is that we need to be aware of those. Let me go to the chat box and see what people are responding. All right, conscious is one response. Fine. Conscious and justice is another. Okay. Helpful, wonderful, very good. I mean, many people focusing on conscious, that is wonderful. Okay, wonderful, good. Caring, okay, fine. So now when you know what is your core value, all of your actions, all of your decisions, all of your direction, all the direction of your life is aligned towards something. But it's important that you know and you truly believe in that. My reputation, sincerity, integrity, or so many wonderful things, so many wonderful responses coming. Good. It's really nice. Okay, it's really nice to get some wonderful feedback. So I hope this shows that you are following what I'm trying to express. All right. Curiosity, integrity, and hard work. Wonderful. The important thing is for the rest of your life, hold on to your core values because they are going to be your guiding principles. When it comes to making decisions, when it comes to doing anything in your life, there needs to be a guiding principle that drives you. It's good that you people are already aware that you are sharing it in the chat box, but holding on to it, being emotionally aware, that is something critically important. Okay. Another aspect of self-awareness is accurate self-assessment. You know, most of us, we tend to be in a state of denial when it comes to highlighting our strengths. I mean, I'll just share an example. Since I've already told you that I'm a teacher and I'm a business, my students are from business programs. So presentation is a regular part. Presentations and public speaking is a regular part of our program. So when I have a first interaction with them, I usually ask them that how many of you are good at presentations, at public speaking? The regular response that I get is like, all of them say that we are really good at it. So, but when it comes to actually doing it, I see that most of them are not really prepared. Most of them are not really good at it. So I just ask them that, have you been lying to yourself? Because this is something that we call as overconfidence, that you don't know something and you claim that you know, that is overconfidence. So how to deal with that? One should be aware of your own strength and weaknesses, and it should be done accurately. Another simple exercise for all of you. I mean, if I ask you to write down your strengths, that will be easy. I want you guys to write down your top weakness, that as a professional, as a person, that you feel is your top weakness and that is letting you down. I mean, I'm sure that you are already working on it. And I'm sure this session is going to help you, remember that you need to work on it. But I want you to use the chat box and write down one of your top weaknesses. You know, if I would want to share first. If you feel shy to share, I'll share first. At times I feel that I procrastinate a lot. And I think I've caught this disease from my students. Because the students, they usually procrastinate, they delay things. So I think I have caught this sickness, this virus from my students. And I really want to work on it, honestly speaking. I really want to work on it. I really want to meet my deadlines and do things on time. So it's really good that all of you are sharing your weaknesses, and it's good to share it. It requires a lot of courage to share that you know what your weakness is, because once you know, only then you will be able to work on that. How do you evaluate your strengths and weaknesses? Realistically, only when you are open to constructive feedback from your peers, from the people who care for you, and when you continuously reflect upon your experiences in life. I'm sure that all of you must have heard about Steve Jobs. If not, the founder of Apple, not alive anymore, but a really wonderful individual in terms of understanding self-development and life experiences. So when you listen to his talks and speeches and videos on the internet, you see that he always relates his life, his progress with his past, and he calls this concept as connecting the dots. So if you're going to write down connecting the dots on the internet, it's going to give you a wonderful idea. This shows that you learn from your life experiences. And based on your experiences, you determine your strengths and weaknesses. Accuracy, being truthful, is very important. All right, the assignment is also coming, so I hope this assignment is not for me. Okay.
No, it's not for you. It's for the students.
Thank God. Yeah, I'm feeling so happy right now. All right. So to be able to show a sense of humor and perspective about yourself, very timely, I guess. So when it comes to it is a part of loving yourself, since self-development is all about giving yourself true value, loving yourself, trying to reach your true potential, maximizing your potential. So for that, no need to lie to yourself, be very aware and take regular feedback, and take things easy as well. I mean, taking feedback and not taking things personally, they should go hand in hand. If you're not good at something and somebody tells you that you should be working on it, and if you are getting that feedback regularly, you need to work on that. I hope this made some sense to you. Okay, so since we are going to talk about many things in coming time, so I'm just going to speed up a bit. Something that is very common and yet very uncommon, I feel, because usually in our part of the world, confidence is just related to like speaking in front of a bunch of people. I believe this is like some part of it only. Self-confidence relates to many things, which includes that do you believe in yourself? Do you believe that you have the capacity and potential to achieve your goals? Do you feel this courage that you are going to get to where you want to go in your life? Do you believe in making decisions and sticking to them and believe that your decisions are going to work out? When you have this self-confidence in you, then half of the journey is already complete. This, I don't need to tell you guys this, but just to help you sum up everything on this slide, all the top leaders in this world, regardless of their profession, regardless of their background, they all have this trait characteristic common in them. They truly believe in themselves. Whatever they are saying, whatever they are doing, whatever they believe in, they believe in it completely. They don't have doubts. They don't doubt themselves. All right. So I hope that we are able to learn this in emotional intelligence, and in terms of self-awareness, we are able to learn this thing that our ideas, our voices, our decisions, what is going on inside us, we need to stick to that. We need to believe in it. Okay. So the next part is regarding self-regulation. I mean, this image, this gives a very good idea what we are talking about self-regulation. Quitting a bad habit, managing your impulse. You know, this online shopping, how many of you are fond of online shopping? You can raise hands if you want. If you don't want to write in the chat box, you can raise hands. How many of you are fond of online shopping? I mean, you like doing online shopping. You can raise hand if you want. All right, there are 2, 3. Okay, fine. I used to be very fond of it, and then I started losing money. Because, you know, this online shopping mode is designed around impulsive buying. You're just scrolling through on the internet and you find a very interesting ad which shows that since you have been talking with your friends regarding buying a certain pair of jeans, so that ad starts coming that we have a pair of jeans for you, a certain clothes or something that you want. You go to that website, and this website has some really wonderful offers for you, like 50% off and doorstep delivery, and like you can return if you don't want. If you can return this item in like 3 months or 4 months. What are they doing? They're trying to encourage you to make an impulsive decision of buying something. This is what online shopping is all about. I mean, although it helps us a lot, it has made this world a better place. E-commerce is something really wonderful. But the idea behind this is that most of the times the buyers, they end up buying things which they don't actually need. They just see it on the website, they just see it on social media, and they find this impulse to just buy it. Okay. The question is, are you able to manage your impulsive feelings? If you have this immediate urge of doing something, are you able to control yourself? Similarly, if you're feeling sad on something, can you stop feeling sad? Can you control yourself and just stop feeling sad? This is a very direct question that I'm asking you. If you're feeling sad, if you're feeling depressed, can you just tell yourself that I need to stop? And you just stop feeling sad. This, if you're able to answer to this question in a way that you say that, yes, I'm able to do that, you are emotionally intelligent. And this means you are going to become a wonderful leader. This means you're on the right track. And if you somehow you're not able to manage your impulse and you feel caught up by the things happening around you, then you need to work on that. It's about breaking bad habits, taking charge of your life. taking control and charge of your decisions. And this is going to be a continuous process. I'm sure that your life experiences will tell you, you already will be able to relate with what I'm trying to say. But one should always learn from your life experiences. Like you can make mistakes, nothing wrong with that, but do not repeat your mistakes. Just continue to improve on them. All right. I mean, one bad decision off and on, it doesn't really matter. It's perfectly all right. But a series of bad decisions, that should be worked on. So we need to stay composed, positive, and unflappable, even in trying moments, and stay focused under pressure. This means that you are able to regulate yourself. Many things are waiting in the chat box. So, okay. Yeah, I will be sharing the presentation. Don't worry. It's already being recorded, so you'll have the recording of this as well, but I'll share the PDF also. No worries over there, all right? So we are still focusing on the self part, and then we have to talk about the social part as well. So we are halfway there, so we are right on track. Okay. So in terms of self-regulation, I told you at the start of this session that this is going to be a reflective kind of a session. Like all the things that we are talking about, you should be asking yourself that are you doing it or not? If you're doing most of the things, then it's wonderful. And if not, then you need to make a plan for yourself that you need to understand and work on the emotional intelligence capacity. And since I am, as a facilitator, I'm delivering this session, I'm also making mental notes of this. I'm also asking myself, and I'm also telling myself that what areas would I want to work on. So in terms of self-regulation, trustworthiness, somebody asked me in the beginning in the chat box that how is emotional intelligence related with leadership? So you must be knowing that trustworthiness is related with leadership. How can a leader be effective? How can a leader be cherished if he or she does not have the ability to gain the trust of people around him or her? So when you start acting ethically, when you build trust through reliability, when you take charge of your decisions, when you stand by your words, when you have integrity, and when you make ethical decisions, you take tough principle stances in tough decisions, in tough situations. This means you are becoming more self-regulated, and that is leading to your emotional intelligence. I mean, temptations are everywhere. We do feel temptations. We do go through certain situations in our life where we can make a decision which may not be considered ethical and nobody would know about it. All right. We can challenge our authenticity a bit and nobody would care. Nobody would want to talk about it. But it is going to be us who is going to determine our own selves. We are going to determine this is my borderline and I'm never going to violate that. So I hope that you are able to reflect on this ability as well when it comes to understanding self-regulation. Similarly, moving forward, adaptability is another aspect. And this is something that is highly in demand because we believe that the world is changing. I mean, you're talking about professional or personal lives. We always encounter changes. We should always be ready for them. And I do refer to this pandemic time period a lot because since I'm currently conducting a research on the changes that happened in the workplaces, this is an area of my research as well. So that goes on in my mind over and over again that this time period has changed the business world in a lot of ways. Even this Zoom, I mean, before pandemic, your university was definitely, I'm sure, would be doing sessions, but for us, conducting online sessions was something very uncommon. But during the times of pandemic, since students were supposed to be at their homes and the teachers were supposed to be working remotely, so we all had to adapt to this online mode of communication. And I really liked adapting to it. I mean, even the pandemic has passed, but still I'm conducting this session, and I do conduct other sessions as well, working remotely, and it's a lot very comfortable for me as well. So change should be taken as something positive. Ask yourself, do you have resistance to change, or do you find it an opportunity? If you hear a change is coming, as an individual, do you find an opportunity in that? Or do you see a threat in that, and do you feel uncomfortable? Remember that change is uncomfortable. It is bound to make you feel uncomfortable. Whatever change is happening in, whether it's at your workplace, in your family life, in your personal life, if you see a change coming, you are bound to feel uncomfortable. But how you respond to it is going to tell how much adaptability you have. This is one of the top skills that professionals should have. Taking less time to adapt to a new change and trying to find the opportunity in a change, rather than looking at the downsides and the negatives and the threats of whatever is happening, trying to find the positive side of change. Now, this trying to find the positive in everything is a part of emotional intelligence, if you can relate it now. Speeding up. Talking about empathy, I do empathize with the students who are asking questions regarding the assignment. I feel a bit, I'm sure that it'll be an interesting and easy assignment for you, so don't worry, just focus on the session right now. Okay. So moving forward, in terms of, we are still on the personal side of emotional intelligence, so I'm quickly going to move forward. Ask yourself, I've already had a session on self-leadership a month back. Maybe it's already there on the Facebook page of the university. So I'm not going to spend more time over here, but ask yourself, do you have this achievement drive? You know, when it comes to leadership, this is the top trait that a leader should have. The top trait, top characteristic of a personality, that you need to have a drive, a spark, a passion to achieve something. This achievement drive, it takes people a long way. When they are okay with everything, when we start becoming okay with everything, I mean, we are okay with this kind of an income, we are okay with certain lifestyle, we are okay with like everything around us, then ask yourself that, is your achievement drive being compromised? Because as part of self-motivation, we need to have high drive, high self-drive. We need to set challenges, goals. I'm just reminding you. You may already know, I'm just reminding you. Have a high achievement drive. In terms of self-motivation, we are still talking about the personal competencies that we need to have in terms of developing our emotional intelligence. And at the end, quickly, we are going to talk about the social competencies. And after the session, when you are going to go through the slides, then you will be able to connect the dots. Right now, it may be looking as too much information coming your way, but just relax. It's quite synchronized, nothing to worry about. Commitment is another thing. People, they like socially, they find it more acceptable. They find it more convenient to hang out with people who have a sense of commitment in them, who are willing to do things for the group, who believe in working for core values of everyone, and who are committed to a certain cause, committed to their work, committed to the well-being of everyone around them. Because we are taking emotional intelligence and leadership hand in hand, I'm sharing the examples related to that. All right. Thank you so much. I mean, everybody is like most of the students are sharing their positive feedback regarding the presentation. It's really good, but we still have like 20 minutes to go. So please do not go away. Just bear with me for next 20 minutes or so. Okay. Are you the one with the flag in this picture? Do you like taking initiatives in life? You need to ask yourself this question. I mean, are you the change agent? Or are you the one just laying back, just waiting for things to happen on their own? Or would you be willing to be the one who brings about a change, who takes the initiative, seizes on opportunities? You should know that how you are going to build on this aspect. Something that we all need in our life in terms of our, I want this to be my top personal competency. I mean, if somebody asks me to describe myself in 2 or 3 phrases, I would want optimism to be one of them. I would want positivity to be one of them. Although it's very challenging. It's like easier said than done. Being a positive person requires a lot of self-discipline, a lot of courage. I mean, giving up on many things, many negative things. But this is something very important because in terms of understanding and learning emotional intelligence, the self part of this requires one to be an optimist, finding the positive side of everything. Understanding that life is going to give obstacles and setbacks, but we have to go through it. We have to find a way. And we will always find a way. Once you believe that you will always find a way, regardless of everything that is going on around you, if you always believe that you will find a way, then you can give yourself 10 out of 10 in terms of being an optimist. If not, if you can take one thing from this session today, I'll request that be more positive in life. I hope that you already are and you are spreading positivity and optimism in people around you. But if not, then take this one thing today. All right. So we are done with the self part. I mean, emotional intelligence, it had 2 parts to it. One of them was the self part. The other was the social part. So we are done with the self part. Yeah. And we are going to talk quickly about the social part. Okay, just let me have a look at the chat box. Presentation is wonderful. Okay, thank you so much. So nice of you to share. This means that you guys are socially very intelligent. I mean, giving compliments to your resource person, something really wonderful. Okay. I do give this example a lot. There was a research conducted on patients who were admitted in hospitals and dealing with dread diseases, dealing with terminal diseases. And there was a research conducted and they were asked that what attribute do you find most appealing in the doctor who is treating you? I mean, there are certain attributes, certain traits, characteristics, skill sets. What do you find most appealing in your practitioner, in your doctor who is treating you? You know what was the top factor that was the result of that research? That what did the patients expect in their doctors? They expected empathy. They wanted their doctors to have more empathy, care, and concern towards them because they knew that they are going through a dread disease. They are dealing with something which is very critical. But they wanted somebody to pay attention to them, to care for them. You know, as a teacher, I've been a teacher for like 19, 20 years now. And I believe that, I mean, our students, They do want to learn many things from us, but they do expect a lot of empathy from us as well. A sense of care, an element, an aspect that tells them that we care for them. We are there for them. Although our relationship is transactional, I mean, we are charging them to teach them something. But as humans, we need to have this sense of empathy. This empathy with the family members, with the friends, although it's already there, but it needs to be more with the co-workers, and it does not end up in exploitation of any kind. People, they don't get exploited. No need to. If you are emotionally aware of your boundaries, if you're emotionally aware of your strengths and weaknesses, then nobody can take advantage of you. So if you believe that empathy should be one of the top traits that I need to have, people can reach out to me, they can talk to me, they can share things with me, and I can understand once what they are sharing, I can understand that what kind of a response are they expecting and what kind of a response would help them help them feel better. That is all a part of empathy. This is a part of social awareness. Empathy is a key word when it comes to emotional intelligence. When it comes to leadership, when it comes to working with peers, when it comes to interpersonal skills. I mean, we did have a session a couple of weeks back. We had a session on social intelligence. And I consistently focused on the aspect of empathy in social intelligence as well. We need to show a bit more care towards people around us. I'm sure that the services that we usually use, the cab rides that we have, or the restaurants we visit, we can give them a rating on Google and on social media platforms. We give them stars. Just consider one thing, that for example, if you meet somebody and once you're talking to them and having a chit chat, and once you leave, they give you a rating, how many stars would you get? It's not about pleasing other people. It's not about that. That is a totally separate thing. It is about having, in terms of a professional context, it is about having a service orientation. It is related to empathy. It is related to care. This means that you are available to respond to questions. Even as a leader, you need to have a service orientation. When required, you will gladly offer appropriate assistance. You will find ways to increase, here it is written, customer satisfaction, just to give you an idea that what we are talking about. We are at your service. As a teacher, I believe that since teaching is a service, being a doctor is a service, so service orientation means that you need to make sure that the customer feels happy, feels satisfied. So we need to have this ability as a professional as well, that people, they are able to give you 5 stars. In professional context moving forward, in terms of social awareness, developing others is critically important. Make out actions, do things, align your actions in a way that people around you, they feel that they are learning things, that they are developing. You are developing, they are developing. It's like a win-win situation going on. Because we are talking about, I'm imagining that professionally you want to learn some skill. So in terms of professional context, in terms of learning emotional intelligence in a professional context, we need to make sure that everything that is happening because of us, it is focusing on the development of people around us. And it's good to appreciate diversity when you see people with different ideas. I mean, I find these sessions very interesting. And I mean, the top motivation for me is to have an interaction with such a diverse group. I mean, when you are writing down things in the chat box, when we are seeing the screen, I'm just watching all the faces and reading the names, and I think that this is something really wonderful that is happening, that through this Zoom, all these different people in different areas are like talking on one thing. I mean, I'm talking for the most of the time, but like we are in a conversation. So this diversity, it should be appreciated. Like people, not only the diversity regarding their geographical background or people coming from different areas, but the diversities of ideas as well. Having an open mind that people around you can give you a better idea. If you're thinking on something, then the people around you, they can give you a better idea as well. They can challenge your beliefs. And there is nothing wrong in unlearning something. And if you believe in something for a long period of time, and if there are people who tell you that what your belief is, it is not appropriate, it is not right, an open-minded person would want to improve on it, would never be like, would never hesitate, would never be bound to stick to that idea. He or she would want to learn and grow. So many wonderful things. I mean, all the slides, I can talk on them for a lot of time, but since we have to follow the deadline of 1 hour and we almost have 7-8 minutes to go, so I will be trying to wind up. And then and in the meantime, if you have any question, anything you want to share, you can just use the chat box to write it down, and I'll try to respond to it at the end, no worries. So in terms of learning social competencies and our social skills and ability to influence, this is a wonderful thing. I mean, we all have brilliant ideas. We all have something wonderful to share. And if we are able to sell our ideas, then we are successful. Whether in a business world or in personal life, if we have the ability to influence, to persuade, to encourage, to affect somebody else's thoughts, processes, mindsets, then it means that we have what it takes. I would want you guys to work on this thing and learn about this thing in detail later, how to improve upon your skills to influence others. It can have an aspect of interpersonal skills. It can have negotiation skills, social intelligence. But the important thing is that this should be a priority. One should find appropriate words, appropriate actions, gestures to make sure that they are making a good impact. This is another part of social skills. And we all know how important and valuable communication skill is. Body language, verbal, non-verbal communication, we all have. I'm sure that you must be having various sessions on communication skills as part of this self-leadership program that I'm running. I mean, this is my 4th session with you guys, I guess. So this was a part of series that I was conducting. My next session that is going to be in October, I guess. So that will be on communication skills. So don't forget to attend that. We are going to talk about all the aspects of interpersonal and communication skills in that. Leading by example, having the ability to lead when people, they want somebody to lean on, they want somebody to look up to. Do you have what it takes to become that leader? Ask yourself, would you be willing to step forward? Will you be having the courage to lead the whole group? We usually see those reality shows on television in which there are teams and they are given some tasks and they are competing with each other and they are required to make their leaders on their own. So I find it very interesting that people who volunteer to become leaders, such a huge attribute. When people, they volunteer to become a leader, they want to take the responsibility. I think that is a wonderful trait and people admire it in terms of your social skills and emotional intelligence. This is something really important. I've already mentioned a bit about conflict management, but how to do it, how to deal with it, Do make it a priority that making conflicts is not a good thing. It's not a trait to be proud of. Dealing with conflicts, handling them, managing them, dealing with difficult people, that is something that we need to learn. And how can we do that? Diplomacy is one trait. Tactfully dealing with certain situations and people. Encouraging debate, discussions, focusing on win-win solutions. Wonderful things. Oh, so this was basically, I think I'm right on time with this. So this was all about, I'm just going to show you the last slide that so that you must be aware that what we're talking about. I mean, there were so many things coming. So I'm just going to wind up by showing you this screen that emotional intelligence, it has two main aspects to it. Developing your personal competencies and then developing social. Personal competencies are going to be something within you, and social competencies involve other people as well. So I've been talking about many things, which included emotional awareness, self-assessment, quickly going through it, self-confidence, self-control, trustworthiness, adaptability, achievement drive, sense of commitment, taking initiative, being an optimist. Then we are talking about the social awareness, having empathy, a service orientation, ability and urge to develop others, adapting and appreciating diversity, the ability to influence, communication skills, leadership, conflict management, and that's about it.